In this video, we're going to be looking at something that is really becoming a classic from Crossway. It's the ESV Bible with Creeds and Confessions. And I've reviewed this Bible before on my channel, a couple of different copies. I think I actually have reviewed this along with an imitation leather. We're going to look at something similar today, but this one here is actually something, I think it's a newer cover that they're offering. But this one here, if you want to look at my previous review, you'll see it's a hardcover. And all of these Creeds and Confessions Bibles come in a nice box like this, where the Bible just slips right in and out of the side here. Really nice ornate design to it. Information on the back there. Tells you all the Creeds and Confessions that are included. Also gives you the features here, 10-point type. And, you know, like I said, this is really becoming a classic. People are really, really enjoying these. And I think, I know with rebinds, a lot of people are getting these Bibles rebound. The hardcover is very nice. It's a great option. But this cover here, one of the imitation leather covers, they call it True Tone. That's the name for Crossway's imitation leather. This is brown with the cross trefoil design. And when you look at the cover here, you see it's very similar to what's on the box cover. So this particular design, I think is a new one as I'm recording this. The spine here has hubs, really nice stamping. The back does give you the ISBN number for this particular edition. Has perimeter stitching. The True Tone cover has a leather look to it. It's very nice, very flexible, but it's quite affordable. That's what's good about the imitation leather. It looks great, but still affordable. Inside you have a paper paste down. And let's look at the ribbons here. So we have, looks like a couple of brown ribbons. Yeah, so two angle cut, double-sided brown ribbons. And again, that cover design just looks great. I love the different options that they've made available. So I wanted to be able to show this on my channel because when I saw this, I thought, oh, I don't think a lot of people have reviewed this, and it's something I think a lot of people would really like to see. The Bible itself, I mean, again, I've reviewed this before, but it's always worth looking at. It's a good size. It's not necessarily that 8.5 by 5.5. It's a little bit more like that larger size, which you get with large print Bibles. It's more like 9.5 by 6.5 on the cover by 1 3/8 inches on the spine, something like that. Gold page edges. I already said the paper paste down liner. You have title page and family records pages. These are on kind of a matte cardstock. And then you have title pages. When you get inside here, you'll see actually that on the bottom here, it says 2025. So this edition, the Creeds and Confessions edition, has been printed now for a while, but this particular cover I think is a new option. And then you see the contents. And what's great about this Bible, I believe it's really the typeset of the Omega Bible. I believe it's the same actually, but in the back here you have all of these Creeds and Confessions. So that's great for various reasons. If you are someone who holds to certain Creeds and Confessions, then it's great for your use. But even if you're not someone who necessarily holds to a particular confession, it's good to be able to see for reference what these confessions say. These historic confessions certainly can guide us in terms of how we understand Christianity in the past and its relationship to Christianity today. You have the preface here, and then you have the explanation of the features in this edition. you get into the Bible itself. As I said, I think it's the same as the Omega. So it's a nice typeset. The size of the print, I think it says here, yeah, it's 10-point size. Double column paragraph. And on the bottom outside here you have cross references. Now this is the one thing, it's not my favorite, is I think these cross references are quite small, a little bit hard to read, but if you need them, they are there. And then on the bottom you have, looks like the full set of translator notes, and those are actually, I would say, a little bit bigger print than the cross references. So those I like. I'm glad they separated them out, though. Some Bibles will put cross references and translator notes all together. So I'm glad at least they separated them out. You do see here that this has it has poetic setting for poetry. And as far as the overall look of the page, it's decent line spacing. I think they're trying to fit a lot in here and keep the Bible a manageable size with a pretty large size font. So in my opinion, it's maybe not the absolute best as far as line spacing, but it's absolutely fine, and it is a good size font. So it's not necessarily my absolute favorite typeset, but a lot of people love it, and it certainly is a good size print. It looks to me like this is printed very nicely. The paper has a really good feel to it, kind of a smooth feel to this one. I do think it's supposed to be line matched, but looking at this page, you wouldn't know that it's line matched. So that's interesting. I'm not sure why that is. But let's get to more of the poetry. Yeah, I'd say in general the poetry, I'm not seeing a lot of show through. Yeah, I would say I think it's supposed to be line matched, and yet I'm not necessarily seeing all the lines match up. So that's interesting. Yeah, it's kind of hit and miss. But I would say the ghosting is not really too much of an issue because the paper is quite nice, and generally it does look pretty line matched. And then getting through here, we have the New Testament. Words of Christ are black letter. So great reference Bible to begin with. And I know I said it's not my favorite. I'm just saying in terms of the page, it looks very crowded to me, but I don't want to overstate that. This is a classic text, and I think just everything about it is very useful. The verse numbers are pretty easy to find in that bolder print. So I will say Crossway, there's a reason why people really like Crossway Bibles, because they have such a great look to them and a consistency of quality overall. Weights and measures in the back, concordance. And then you get to this section with creeds and confessions. And it has introductions by Chad Van Dixhoorn. And here are the contents, all the different creeds there. So if you have never gotten one of these Bibles, this might be the time for you to consider, because it really is worth going through these and just seeing what Christians throughout history have written to encapsulate their theology, starting with the Apostles' Creed right here. And you also learn tidbits of information that you might not have known. This is, I think, where I first learned that when you get to the Westminster Confession, this actually is the 1788 edition, I believe. And it tells you about it here. That it talks about, the American Presbyterians meeting in Philadelphia in 1788 concluded that the civil government should not in the least interfere in matters of faith. Differences between the 1646 Westminster and the 1788 Philadelphia text are identified in footnotes in the following texts. So they do reference the differences, but I think the text itself, the main text, has the 1788 edition of the Westminster. So just things like that you learn by going through these. And let's face it, even if our theology disagrees with people, a lot of times we misunderstand because we're just hearing secondhand what other people believe. So if you want to know what people in these time periods believed, it's really good to read firsthand and see how they approach these matters. Here's the London Baptist Confession. I know various people who hold to this, the 1689 London Baptist Confession. And then you have the Heidelberg Catechism. And again, all of these have introductions to them, so that's very useful. So people would use these to memorize, of course. You know, you have questions, and then people memorize the answers to those questions. It helps them understand and know basic Christian doctrine. You have a larger catechism here. And let me go back here to the beginning of this larger catechism. Oh yeah, the Westminster Larger Catechism. And then so that's the longer edition, and then you also have a shorter catechism with shorter answers. So I've read through a lot of this. I don't think I've gotten through all of the catechisms yet. I think I've, in the Heidelberg Catechism, it's taken me a long time to read through these over a period of time, but I do think it's really good to read through these. You learn a lot. It's very spiritually edifying as well. At the end here, you have maps on glossy cardstock. It maybe is more of a semi-gloss cardstock. Very nicely, crisply printed here. So everything about this Bible is really well done, and they have re-released, I believe, a goatskin edition of this. I don't have that. So if you want more of a high-end edition, they have that. They have these True Tone editions, imitation leather, and then they also have this nice hardcover edition. I'm not sure if it's currently available, but you can look into that. That is something that I think is still available and is a great option. So just a wonderful Bible edition from Crossway, the ESV Bible with creeds and confessions. That's a look at them with their boxes. And if you have any questions or comments about this Bible, I'd love to see that in the comment section below. But thank you so much for taking a look at these with me from a fresh perspective.